finally at my gate through a turmoilish start. I had to find a spot that was nice and quiet. I'm not at my actual gate right now because it's full of a huge group that's going to be going on the steps of Paul, which is actually kind of cool. And I feel like I'm going to be going partly of the historic steps of Paul when I go to Greece. But after my talk, of course, after my talk. So right now I'm taking a little bit of a break. Had a little bit of a problem at check-in because carry-ons were overweight, but the check bag wasn't overweight. So we had to do some maneuvering. So we did the maneuvering, we're good. And now we're just resting. Now my back hurts and I need chiropractic help. But anyway, ready for the next part. Well, you may be wondering, how did we even get to this point that she's going to Greece? Well, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Lydia, otherwise known as Professor A, the art coach, and I'm a national board certified art teacher. And I teach high school visual arts, and sometimes during the summer, I'll teach the younger grades for summer art camps. But I've gotten a lot of questions regarding how I engage in these different opportunities to present in other countries. And I'm also an EDD candidate, which means I'm getting my doctorate in curriculum and instruction in art education. And due to that, I have presented my research at various conferences. So I've joined different and connected with different international organizations that do art education and work in the arts throughout the world. And this is giving me the opportunity to connect with those organizations and put in proposals for presenting my research. So I've gotten a lot of questions about just these opportunities and the travel itself. And I'm going to take this time to actually explore this more in today's video. So come along. Finally made it onto the airplane, and so I'm excited because I'm tired and now I can just rest and relax. And then we even got an extra seat. You can see I have two. Oh, it's very exciting. So, all right, so the next step is having dinner at 10 o'clock at night. That's gonna be interesting because the flight is leaving at 9:40 or so. So that should be an interesting thing. I've had dinner that late before, but I don't know about on an airplane. So, all right, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna do my unboxing of my quite cute Turkish Airlines bag. I had two socks. Blue's not my thing, but you know, two socks make a pair. Yes, that's true. And some nice slippers. Two that make a pair. And then, eye mask. That'll be nice. Earplugs. I don't normally use earplugs a lot, but you never know. And then, and a nice, tells you about the cultural values of Turkey. That's pretty cool. And it's decorated on the front. Oh yeah, and then they give us a pillow, of course. But I don't think we can. That's not a parting gift. But I think that's it. Okay, don't mind the airport here, you guys. It was a rough time getting through the airport and getting onto the plane. Oh, you know how it goes. Anyway, I flew Turkish Airlines on my way to Athens. So that's the airline I took. So I actually had a layover in Istanbul, Turkey. So that's why you have a lot of the things that said Turkey on like the cultural values card. And we had this delicious meal. I believe it was with beetroot buns. They actually were pretty good. And then we had to transfer and take another flight to still Turkish Air to Athens, Greece from Istanbul. So pretty nice. It wasn't too much of a layover and wasn't too bad. And apparently there's this one new thing, at least that airlines have, or this airplane on Turkish Air has. That's this button where there's no actual riser anymore. If you want it dim, sure you get your risers. You can press the darkening button, and if you want it light, you press the upper button. I think that's actually pretty neat. Then you don't have that extra part in the front that you have to go up and down, up and down. Okay, so before we land in Athens, I want to take a step back and show you just how I got to this point. So as I promised at the beginning, so for this conference, it's the World Alliance for Arts Education Summit. So this took place last fall, and before I was able to even get to the point of flying to Athens, Greece, I had to first submit a proposal to the conference committee. So this gives you a look at what the conference website looked like, and then of course this is afterwards. So they give a synopsis of basically all the different departments that were involved, and then also mainly their theme for the conference, which is really important when you're looking at different conferences to send proposals into. You want to make sure that whatever you're going to submit is actually going to fit their theme, not just necessarily just what you want to talk about. So once I did that, and they had a nice breakdown on their website of different types of presentations that you could do. So I could do a workshop, I could do a paper presentation. There was also, I believe, the option to do a panel proposal, because there were some some sessions that I actually attended that had multiple presenters in them. So there was a number of different options that could be done. But I chose to do the workshop and the paper presentation because I wasn't sure exactly which one would be accepted. My paper presentation was basically my dissertation and my doctoral research that I was in the process of doing, or I'm still in the process, but in the process of going and doing. And then the workshop was based on work that I actually had been doing in my classroom, lessons that I had initiated and did a trial on, and basically the outcomes of that lesson, and was able to present on the intricacies of it. So when you're doing these types of presentations or these types of conferences, they're always usually going to have requirements. And as you can see here, for both this workshop and then the paper one, that was quite comprehensive. Specifically for the paper one, it had to be, if you're in a graduate school, you know about this, or if you're in college, you'll know about this, about the APA style. So I had to make sure the proposal was an APA style. As you can see, I had to have a theoretical, pedagogical background, had to have the aim, my method of research, and some of the results, or the main summary of the main ideas, and then what were the implications for art education. And then I was so excited after waiting some time, I can't remember how long it was before they actually decided. It wasn't like a terribly long time, but I heard back and got this wonderful email stating that I had been accepted. My paper presentation as well as my workshop have been accepted for the conference. So then the work, of course, began of preparing. So once you get an acceptance and you know for sure that what you submitted is good according to the organizers, then it's time to prepare. So I started preparing. I basically, of course, had my details about my research, and then also had what I was planning to do for the workshop, but I had to put together a presentation that would be clear and would speak to any pain points or challenges that maybe the attendees would have, or questions they would have about my work in either the paper presentation, of course, or the workshop. And so I set up my presentations based on that, based on what I was doing and what I had done for the workshop in the classroom, and questions that had come up, or challenges, and how I addressed them. And then the paper presentation, basically my slides were based on how the requirements basically of the proposal. Well, after a full day of traveling, made it to the hotel, which was more like an apartment slash hotel, somewhat like an Airbnb type style, but not completely, but really nice. And it's something that there are a number of these in Athens, and they're usually a reasonable price, and you get a full kitchenette and then a bedroom. Sometimes you can get more than one bedroom space, and then also has a living room and then, of course, bathroom. It was really nice and a welcome sight after a long day of travel. So after settling in and getting everything put away, it was off to Slumberland and to prepare for the next day, which would be the first day of the conference. When I came to Turkey last year. So that's always exciting to reconnect with old colleagues. I even have my badge, so I'm official. It's official. And so now I'm getting ready to hear the keynote, and we're in the University of Athens, which we took a nice little coach ride here, and it was pretty nice once we got out of the congestion, because Athens is pretty congested, where we actually caught the shuttle, and it's really, once we got out of the congestion, we were able to get into a nice even flow, and I just checked in with registration, and so now we're waiting for the keynote, so I'm getting more excited. And so seen old colleagues, and now we've got the presenting information on the screen. So like, oh, what's going on next? Looking forward to it.
Empathy, innovation, and new ways of thinking. In a world driven by technology and data, the arts remind us of the importance of human experience and perspective. Art fosters creativity, which is crucial in solving complex problems.
He's not original, he just takes old stories and throws them into dramatic shape. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Well, but of course, what he didn't realise is that playwrights don't have to be.
Day one was quite enjoyable of the conference and interactive. There were some workshops that I attended as well, but day two of the conference was when I had my paper presentation and then my workshop presentation. Both were exciting to be able to present.
Of course, as you know, the local conflict, the political violence that's going on right now. I think one of our other colleagues mentioned that now qualitative research and a pilot study that I'm doing as part of my dissertation, prior to completing my dissertation in my doctoral program.
Well, I was very thankful to be finished with my presentations and that they were very successful. And I also was able to participate in other sessions and learn from international art education scholars and professionals and learn more about art education in their countries as well as in Greece. And of course, no trip to Greece can be complete without immersing in the Greek culture. And I went to the the Greco's project that was recommended by a local tour guide to get moussaka, which is a great Greek dish and was very tasty. After the conference, which was a full 3-day conference, I was able to engage in some day trips as well as some overnight trips to various ancient sites. Now, because Greece is known or has a history that stretches way back into ancient times, they have a lot of ruins, a lot of cities that hold a lot of cultural significance. And I was really excited to be able to first go to Corinth on a car excursion.
The biggest city, the biggest suburb of Athens. The population of this city is bigger than the people that live downtown. Because downtown is very busy, doesn't mean it's... And here, give you a picture, take a picture of that. This is how it used to be the little ancient port. Here we are now, it was exactly like that.
All right, so now I am walking in Thessaloniki, that's how you pronounce it correctly, Thessaloniki, along the coastal route. This is one of the interesting facts. This is one of the places where Paul actually came. So St. Paul, or Apostle Paul, came to preach to the Thessalonians. So this area, in addition to places like Ephesus or places like Corinth, are very, very important in the Christian religion. And so, but it's also important to the Byzantine history. So I'm headed to several sites that are part of that history. But this gives you a view of how the life is here in modern day Thessaloniki. Very busy, but coastal living. Take a look. And then I'll show more as we get closer to the landmark site. I have to watch my head. We're going up a 6th floor tower. And there it is. 3rd floor, halfway up. The 3rd floor now. There's an audio tour. It lets you go and see everything, or unless you hear it. They have it in multiple languages, which is pretty good. So now, heading up to the 6th floor and come all the way back down. Well, once you reach the top of the tower and then also some of the other floors, there were all of these really interesting corridors, and these curved arches, and basically you could really see the ancient parts of this building. But what was also really incredible was to see all of the history. It was written in Greek, but Google Translate was very helpful and translated it into English, but it told of all the history of Thessaloniki and the area that was also once thought of as the Macedonian area. So it was great getting all of this history and to learn about all the different cultures that were a part of this area, and which had a history stretching back to ancient times. As I mentioned, they had the audio tour, and as you went on each floor, you could listen to the audio tour, which was in various languages, including English. And then at the very, very top of the tower, you were able to be welcomed by this extraordinary view of the entire city. And it was a great end to the climb up the 6 floors of this tower. Well, I do want to thank you for joining me on this journey, and we're going to return back for the end of this video to kind of where it began at the Athens airport. And hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a lot about Greece and my experience at the conference. And just remember, if you would like to keep being notified about various videos that I'll put out, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks again.